You're listening to Holy Sync Radio Podcast. Today's podcast, The Heart Got Lost in the Noise.
Welcome to Holy Sync Radio.
Glad you're here with us today.
Today's conversation is one that I think a lot of people are silently dealing with right now, even if they don't know how to explain it. Because on the outside, it looks like we're more connected than ever. But emotionally, a lot of people are exhausted, disconnected, overstimulated, and quietly lonely.
And let's be real, the more I think about it, the stranger it feels. Communication is at the highest point it's ever been in history. We can text instantly, video call across the world, join groups with thousands of people, post our thoughts publicly in seconds. And yet somehow, people are lonelier than ever. Depression is higher. Anxiety is higher. Isolation is higher, especially among young people. And honestly, I think part of the reason is this. We have more communication, but less connection.
That's good, because communication and connection really are two completely different things. Somebody can answer every text message, post every day, be active online constantly, and still feel completely unseen inside. And honestly, I think a lot of people are carrying heavy things emotionally while pretending they're okay publicly.
Exactly. I started noticing this online. I'll look at Facebook groups with 50,000, 100,000 people in them, mental health groups, loneliness groups, Christian music groups, thousands of people searching for something. But when somebody posts from the heart, almost nobody responds. I see it in my own Christian music radio group all the time. People post songs, prayer requests, thoughts, things they clearly spent time creating, and days can go by without anybody saying anything. Everybody wants to be heard, but very few people stop long enough to hear somebody else.
And I think that's why so many people still feel lonely, even inside online communities. People are present, but not always emotionally present. Everybody's scrolling, everybody's posting, everybody's searching for something, but very few people are slowing down long enough to genuinely connect.
And it made me start asking myself something. Are we really involved anymore? Or are we just present with our name without our heart? Because real connection takes presence, attention, listening, and I think people are becoming uncomfortable with silence because silence forces us to look inward. And a lot of us don't want to look inward because when everything gets quiet, that's when the real thoughts start showing up. The fear, the regret, the anxiety, the insecurities, the questions we've been trying to outrun. So instead of sitting with those things, we make noise, scroll more, text more, watch more, keep the TV running, stay busy, stay distracted, anything to avoid dealing with what's happening inside us.
That part really stands out to me because people are surrounded by noise constantly now: music, videos, scrolling, notifications, and eventually all of that stimulation makes it hard for people to even sit quietly with their own thoughts anymore. But healing usually starts when we finally slow down enough to become honest about what's really happening inside us.
And I know that feeling personally. When I went through my divorce years ago, that was one of the hardest seasons of my life because for the first time in a long time, I couldn't hide inside activity anymore. I couldn't just stay busy with family life, kids, work, responsibilities. Now there were quiet moments. And those quiet moments were hard
I think a lot of people listening probably understand that feeling more than they realize, because staying busy is easy, but when life finally slows down, that's usually when the deeper emotions start surfacing. And honestly, that can feel scary at first.
because those quiet moments forced me to look at myself, not just who I was as a husband, not just who I was to everybody else, but who I really was when everything got silent. And the truth is, those months were painful, but I believe God used that season to start reshaping me because eventually I realized something powerful. If I truly have God, then I'm never actually alone. And I'm not going to pretend transformation happens overnight. It doesn't. Real healing takes time, real growth takes time, real transformation takes time, especially the older you get. Because at my age now, I've realized something. A lot of adulthood isn't just learning new things, it's unlearning old things, old habits, old reactions, old thought patterns, old emotional responses. You spend decades building certain patterns, and then one day realize those same patterns are hurting you and hurting people around you. And now you've got to reverse them.
And that's why teaching healthy emotional patterns early matters so much. Because kids don't just magically learn how to process emotions in healthy ways on their own. They need guidance, they need examples, and they need honest conversations. And I think a lot of parents are trying their best right now. They just feel overwhelmed too.
That takes work. I'm still working on myself, still growing, still learning.
And I think people need to hear that more often. Growth doesn't mean perfection. It means being willing to keep becoming healthier emotionally, spiritually, and mentally over time. And in real life, I think some people give up on growth because they expected change to happen instantly.
Far from perfect. But I'm moving forward. And that's why I care so much about speaking to younger people now. Because when you're young, you don't have as much to unlearn yet. You're still becoming, so learn healthy patterns now. Learn emotional discipline now. Learn honesty now. Learn how to process things now. Learn how to sit quietly with God now, because an ounce of prevention really is worth a pound of cure. And honestly, the Bible already talked about this long before psychology did. It says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Whatever lives inside us eventually comes out. If somebody carries anger they never dealt with, bitterness, resentment, pain, eventually it leaks into their words and reactions. And I've had to learn that myself. There are moments where I'll react too quickly or get frustrated. And if I stop and really think about it, sometimes I'm not even truly mad at the other person. I'm frustrated with myself for allowing the reaction to take control. And you, my love, you know me well. You know exactly what buttons can get me worked up. But at the end of the day, it's still my responsibility how I respond.
And that's a really important distinction because maturity isn't pretending emotions don't exist. It's learning how to feel emotions without letting them completely control your reactions. And some of the strongest people are the ones who learned how to pause before responding.
That's maturity, because we can't control every stimulus in life, but we can learn to control our response to it. There's a quote from Viktor Frankl that says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. Now, that's powerful because most people think peace comes from controlling everything around them. But real peace often comes from learning how to control what happens inside you. Romans 12 talks about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And when God starts renewing your mind, you begin reacting differently, thinking differently, interpreting situations differently. Sometimes you don't even respond at all anymore because not everything deserves a response.
And that takes wisdom, especially in a world where everybody feels pressure to react instantly to everything. Sometimes peace comes from learning when to stay quiet instead of emotionally reacting to every situation.
Yeah, God's been teaching me this in every area of my life, even physically. I dealt with chronic back pain for years, ice packs constantly, pain medication, high blood pressure, and I truly believe God healed me. But I also had to take responsibility for my health, my habits, my mindset, my discipline, because faith and responsibility work together. And now my blood pressure is healthier than it's been in years. Not because I'm perfect, but because God started changing me from the inside out.
That's powerful because I think people sometimes separate spiritual health from emotional and physical health, but all of those things affect each other. And healing usually touches more than one area of your life.
Exactly. This conversation matters enough that we're going to keep talking about these things more often, not just on the podcast, but also through TA Vale Online. We're actually starting to build resources for parents too.
I'm really excited about that part because so many parents genuinely want to understand what their kids are dealing with emotionally right now. They just don't always know how. Things are different now. Kids are carrying pressures that many parents never experienced growing up. So, creating conversations around anxiety, loneliness, identity, emotional health, social media pressure, and prayer, I think that could help a lot of families feel less alone.
Because people need help, real conversations, real hope. We want to create things like how to talk to your teen about depression, how to pray for your kids, why your child became emotionally quiet, how social media affects identity, how to create real conversations at home, why this generation feels disconnected. Because A lot of parents feel lost too.
And if you're listening today and you feel overwhelmed, anxious, emotionally exhausted, or disconnected, you're not alone.
And maybe tonight, instead of filling every second with noise, sit quietly with God for a few minutes. No performance, no pretending, and no perfect words, just honesty. Because technology can respond to you, but only God can truly heal the heart.
Thanks for hanging out with us today.
This is Holy Sync Radio. And remember, communication means nothing if the heart gets lost in the noise. And for parent resources, you can download them at tavaleauthor.com.
Thank you for spending your time with us today. If this encouraged you, share it with someone who needs it. New episodes drop every Saturday. You can find us at holysyncradio.com and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also available on the Apple app for download. Until next time, keep your heart soft and stay in sync, and remember,
God loves you.